Hi everyone, I'm here today with some news and updates on the Yaw2 Kickstarter campaign. So yesterday, Yaw released two new videos, one showing off the weight load bearing capacity of the Yaw and another one showing an alternative footrest mechanism. And then, so I'm just going to play these and talk to them. So they've got Attila, who they used on the Yaw1 campaign here, weighing in at 230 kilos. And just showing that the yaw can still spin around at least. The yaw axis still works. What I would have liked to seen on this video is the pitch and roll being used, but even that it can handle this weight load turn around is pretty impressive. I think, it would have been had a lot more weight in the video if they had showed some pitch and roll movement as well, but this is well above the guided weight limits they're talking about for even the pro unit. So this is just a very tall gentleman showing that he's still able to use it. So 6'7", which is I'll keep going on that one. The other one I wanted to show was the alternative footrest
In the
mechanism.
following video, we'd like to show you an early prototype of Yaw2's alternative pedal support system.
Just going to knock that audio out. So this was actually what I thought might be in mind. Zolt told me that they were working on something, and when I saw the side rails for sticks and so on, I thought that you could build a cage using this square extrusion similar to this. And then the chance they've missed out here is that they should have had some Fanatec and a direct drive steering wheel, but it does look like it would be quite rigid, and so weight provided it can handle the weight, I don't think it would be a problem for the yaw to be set up in this configuration using those types of pedals and wheel. So, and they don't have the yaw platform on that one, so we don't get to see it spinning around, but you can see it would make for a much more rigid pedal system, and even the steering would be much less prone to flex. So pretty glad to see that, and I believe this will be available after the campaign, and they'll also have plans for you to be able to build your own version of it, which is pretty cool. So let me just stop that. And then I want to go to Discord, where yesterday morning Zolt came online at about 5 o'clock my local time and answered some questions. So I'm just going to be looking up at my screen here because I can't read it on my small monitor. But so I've had an open question about what sort of weight can you have for a user supplied seat. Still waiting on an answer to that, but I think we can sort of calculate it out with the weight limits that they're expecting. So for the base yaw without the pro motors, they're expecting about 140 to 150 kilograms should be okay, and that's including your full load with you and your accessories, and then around about 180 kilograms for a pro unit. So I've picked up a chair yesterday myself through local secondhand circles that weighs about 16 kilos, I think. So for myself, I weigh usually something under 75 kilos. So I'm easily in the green for that, with steering wheel and pedals usually only weighing around 6 kilos for like a G920. So, all right. So I asked a question about the expected price for the G Plus platform. Still, they're not 100% sure on that because they don't know whether they're going to need one or two motors. They have one motor inside at the moment, but maybe they'll need two, I guess. My estimate for that, which he did actually confirm, he said their original calculation was around 400, and I've been estimating 400 to 500 US for it as a price, probably just extrapolating based on what the yaw platform is. If you get the G Plus, it's the combined yaw and heave platform. So will chip shortages affect the timeline for delivery? They're working on it. They've changed a few of the internal boards to be able to use older chips. So they've got a plan B if there is a shortage. But in the Kickstarter campaign, they've also said that they expect not to have too much of a problem with that, so that's great. Someone asked about whether the rails that are a stretch goal include both left and right side, and Zolt confirmed yes, they will. I asked how many ports on the USB hub because that was being asked earlier, and Zolt confirmed that that would be a 4-port USB hub. Just people asking about how excited they are about how many pledges they got, and they're very happy, obviously. So with the USB ports, there'll be one USB slot on the base platform, and that's just going to have like you can plug that in from your computer, and then that'll allow you to plug peripherals in there. And then if you have the Yaw Pro platform, it'll have the 4-port hub that you can get to through the base platform. That'll be connected. So, okay, so a lot of people hoping that we'll hit 2.5 million, so we get the 5-point harness. Luckily, the chair I bought came with a harness, so I still hope they do for them, but for me, it's not a big deal. Someone asking about whether the Yaw moves much during play, i.e., do you need much of a safety zone? I think the estimated sort of radius you need is going to be a 2-meter circle. If you come from somewhere without metric units, you'll just have to translate that yourself. Sorry. So just reading through. Will they be providing retrofit fixes if need be? That's basically if it's a breaking fix, of course they would be doing that under a warranty type deal like they did with the Yaw1. And they do expect that, during the life of the Yaw2, they may do changes to the configuration, probably for if they find ways to do things that cut costs or to improve any issues that might come up. Is there much flex or bounce in the Yaw2 when on a rapid pitch or roll? It's surprisingly rigid, but of course the footrest has some flex. So that's what a lot of the sim racers were expecting. But we can see with that alternative footrest, there is an option if you want to have a more rigid setup. But it is more robust than the Yaw1. And I have G920 on my Yaw1, and it flexes a little bit, but it's not that bad. I'd say the main issue on the Yaw1 is that the footrest doesn't extend out far enough for me, so I'm kind of cramped a bit if I'm trying to use pedals. Whereas it looks like the footrest on the Yaw2 is a lot longer, so it should be good. So will the footrest angle be adjustable, and will additional foot plates be available? And he did say that they would be making different plates available. Just trying to find the answer. Yep. After the Kickstarter, there'll be several footplate options with pre-drilled holes for different types of pedals. No holes is an option, or specific hole patterns. And then I asked, do you expect back at getting the Gravity Plus, selecting the Gravity Plus platform to experience any significant delay? And Zolt said, the answers are out of step. So it's a bit hard to answer. Now we have a much more production-ready prototype, the Yaw1, so I can imagine that the G platform will be ready soon. In that case, there shouldn't be any significant delay if you upgrade, but of course, technical difficulties might happen. So, they're hoping it won't, but they can't promise definitively. Okay, yeah, that's the incremental improvements, which I've already spoken about. Okay, various questions that aren't specific to questions you might have about the Yaw. We got to see some pictures of the internals. These have been posted on the campaign now as well. This is their second prototype, but they're already on a third prototype. So yeah, they expected that there might be improvements, but they think they're in a much better place now. They've got more people working on it. Plus, they've also got the learnings from the V1. Any news on motion cancelling for Oculus environment, as yeah, if you're playing a native Oculus game? The main thing there is that they don't have any APIs to be able to um, implement that per se, so it's still constrained to playing games through Steam VR, where we can have motion compensation. All right, let's see. Someone asked about durability testing, how much they're going to be doing. Basically, I said, I expect they're going to be testing it quite hard, because the more testing there is, the less issues and returns they're likely to have. So it's in their best interest, and result confirmed, yes, that is definitely true. And then I asked about how long continuously they're aiming for the motors to be able to run, and Zolt confirmed they're actually working actively on cooling at the moment, and their aim is for them to be able to run constantly. So that is really good. Looks like they're actually investigating different wiring inside to also help mitigate some of that heat potentially, but active in cooling internally as well. So someone asked about when they expect the XY module to be available. So that would allow you to move side to side and forward to back. And that's really planned until after. It's not really planned until after the campaign's finished. They're going to be having a lot of Yaws to build first, but I'm sure they'll have some team members working on that. So I think that's probably most of the questions. We got into being a bit silly then, all having fun. Oh, we got to see this very early prototype, which I liked, because we could actually see the gears internally and see these rollers, which will help stabilize everything. Assume that's probably a power supply of some sort, control boards, etc. Okay, so I think, yeah, that's about when Zolt left for the morning. It would have been pretty late in the night for him back then, and we were just talking about colors and so on. So yeah, that's about it, I think. Yeah, so I think that's about it for this video. What I think most people who are on the fence might like to see is the weight of heavy duty racing pedals and a direct drive steering wheel. I think it's going to be a case of depends on how much you weigh. If you're on the lighter end like me, then you're probably not going to have an issue, because you'll be under that top end of the weight limit. But if you're somewhat larger, then you really are going to have to make that decision for yourself and select the simulator that will work for you, which may end up not being the Yaw, unfortunately. But anyway, so we've got I think it's about 39 hours left on the campaign. Let me just check that quickly. So I'm going to post this almost immediately, so you might have half an hour now. So there's 35 hours to go at the moment. So get in before it finishes if you want to. Otherwise, you might want to wait until the campaign's finished and they're delivering units to make your decision. But I can say, as a Yaw1 owner, been very happy with it. It's been a fun device to use, and that's why I'm backing the Yaw2. Thanks.